Hey, everybody. I'm very excited to introduce you to my guest tonight, Erika Marquez. I met Erika in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and she is someone who is filled with information, filled with compassion, and very much the kind of person we all need to be listening to at this time. In 2022, she started working as an organizing activist, empowering her community to find their voice, speak up about the injustices that they deal with on any single day. As a DACA recipient, she understands the urgency of addressing status adjustment and advocating for equality in the undocumented community. Erika, thank you so much for being with me. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Marianne, for having me.
So there are a couple of terms, everybody's heard it, but I think a lot of people are sort of underinformed. One is DACA, and the second is undocumented. So tell us your story, explain so that everybody can really understand what is the DACA situation, who has done what about it, how many people are we talking about it, and then talk to me about the sort of plight of the undocumented in America today.
Absolutely. My story starts in 1987. I was born then in Mexico. My parents were very young when they had me. My mom was just 15. And my grandma had come to the US. While coming over here, my grandma said, you know, I see a bigger opportunity over here for my granddaughter. And she actually paid a coyote to come and bring me and my mom to the US. It wasn't a nice pathway. I could have had a nice pathway, but being stubborn, I didn't want to go with the coyote that I didn't know who it was. A coyote, for those that don't know, is someone who helps smuggle undocumented folks into the United States or into a different country. I crossed the border, like most adults do, through the desert, hiding in porta potties, hearing La Migra, not knowing um, the fear of why I had to run and why I had to hide. My mom was pregnant. She was 6 months pregnant. Um, and we finally got here to the US with the hopes and the dreams of a better future. I was always under the impression by my mom's hopes and dreams that if I went to school and I did good in school, I was going to have this American dream that we all dream of, owning a house, having a career, that white picket fence. But that wasn't it. When I was in high school, I realized that there was something different about me. Um, I didn't know what being undocumented was or what a social security number was up until then. I did really good in high school. I actually almost graduated a year before my class and had won a scholarship. This scholarship was given to three students out of 600. And this was a scholarship that was going to allow me or help me to be able to become a teacher. And I couldn't get any other scholarship because every other scholarship requested a social security number. My mom had to break it down to me that I couldn't do it. I couldn't get a social security number and there was no way. So I figured out, okay, well, this other scholarship isn't requesting a social security number. And I won that scholarship to become that teacher. 5 years completely paid. I mean, I was not going to be a burden to my family, to my parents. Time went on. I did my first semester. My second semester, I got kicked out of school. The fine print in the school was that I had to provide them a social security number within 6 months, something that I couldn't do. So I got kicked out. At that time, my boyfriend had asked me to marry him. Again, not wanting to be a burden to my family, I decided to get married. I was in a relationship for 12 years. Within that 12 years, it was abusive. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a way out. But the only good thing that came out of it was that I was educated on how to be able to get my DACA. And I was able to obtain my DACA in 2014. The way that you obtain that DACA is by being here before 2014, and having no bad record. They do check your record. And by being a good citizen and by graduating high school or being in high school soon to graduate. These are all requirements that they do. Every 2 years, they would either check your fingerprints, make sure you didn't have any DUIs. And of course, you had to pay a fee, $495 every 2 years. Um, this was an opportunity, even though it was a hardship, because most of us are living paycheck to paycheck. You know, people weren't aware of what DACA really was. So they didn't really hire you to do good jobs. But some of the people went to school, were able to graduate, become doctors, lawyers, great, great people. Um, and then there were some that just worked a job, day-to-day job, just to maintain their family. I don't see anything wrong with that because we do pay our taxes. I don't see anything wrong with that because we are being good citizens. The difference between a documented person and an undocumented person and a documented person, there's three differences. Undocumented has no legal documentation to be in the United States. A documented person can be a resident or a citizen. And a DACA-mented person is a person who has the ability to work here in the United States. DACA doesn't have any other protection. They can deport you if they want to. They can stop your employment authorization card. We have no other protection. Most of us, documented people, came into the US undocumented illegally. We were either smuggled or, not with a visa. For this reason, it's very difficult for us to be able to go through the process of becoming a citizen, becoming a resident. That pathway doesn't exist for us. The only way is if you marry a citizen, and you're lucky if you find a citizen that you actually love to marry. But even then, you still need to find how to be able to get your legal entry. And for this reason, it's very important for DACA recipients and for the other community to be able to understand that advanced parole is very important right now.
So, there are a lot of people in the United States who say, I'm all pro-immigration, but I'm pro-legal immigration. Tell me what the situation was with your mother and your grandmother, that they were choosing the coyote, that they were choosing the smuggling. Why not a legal option?
With Mexico, it is very difficult for you to just even get a permit, a visa to be able to come to the US. You pay hundreds of dollars, which it converts to thousands of pesos in Mexico. And sometimes it's not even accepted. You have to show proof that you either own a house or you own a business or there's something that is tying you to Mexico that you're not going to stay in the US. Most of these people don't have that. Sometimes you just want to come and visit your friends. Sometimes you just want to know a different country. I mean, we all like to travel, right? That's not what the case is for Mexico. Um, Sometimes even medical stuff is better in the US than in Mexico. Um, there's better facilities and all that. That's not the opportunity that there is in Mexico. I recently went to Mexico and I saw the hardship. Government wise, is not like we have it. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of corruption. There is no safety for the people. Um, and but that's a whole different can of worms that we can open up.
So if you are yourself a DACA recipient, and you said you went to Mexico, how did you go and come back?
It's called an advanced parole. With this advanced parole, you can request either going to school, which I did. There was a college education time that they did. We went to the University of Colima, which was very beautiful. Got to learn a lot about culture, got to learn about the government, how the government is ran, what you can do, what you can't do. There's a lot of rules. We even got to learn about, how they started novelas, how they started the TV shows and all that great stuff. Comedy, how to cook. It was a very important part that a lot of DACA recipients are missing. Many of us have come to the US at a very, very, very young age, and it's a part of us that we don't know. We can say we're Mexican, and a lot of Mexicans say, "Oh, you are from this state, and it's so beautiful," and you just nod your head and say, "Yeah, I've never been." Um, and that's impactful, I think, for many adults, because we are adults now, to not know where you're from.
How many DACA recipients are there?
At the moment, that's a very good question. But there is, let me actually Google that real quick. Because I don't know that exact number. 580,000 according to a 2023 post.
580,000. By definition, all of them are undocumented, by definition,
Yes.
And I know that Obama tried, correct? Obama tried to put DACA recipients on the path to citizenship. And what did he encounter? What was the resistance, and where is the situation right now?
Unfortunately, the Republican Party continues to push back and say that they don't want to give us a pathway. Um, and they always say that, oh, because we're stealing jobs, or we're not good people, or we have, bad records, or we don't pay taxes. Those are the four important issues that they have. But we do pay taxes. As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter if you are documented or
They
undocumented,
take those taxes out.
you pay those taxes. The thing about it is they continue to say that we are um, getting free things. We're not. We don't qualify for Medicaid. We don't qualify for food stamps. We don't qualify for that
No, hold on. And that's because for any of those things, you'd have to have a social security number?
because you need to have a citizenship or minimum of residency.
Okay, okay,
So for that reason, we don't have that. We only have a work permit. So we don't qualify. That's false information. We
okay,
aren't, we can't be a burden to the US.
right,
If
right.
you don't work, you don't work, but you don't get any benefits.
Right. So you talked about the three categories: documented, undocumented, and then DACA. So that's the DACA that you just mentioned. Now talk to me about the larger category of undocumented.
A lot of undocumented folks have come before, or at an older age and didn't qualify for DACA. My mom, I'll give an example. She came when she, I believe, was 20 years old. And obviously she didn't do school here. She was over the age. So she couldn't qualify for DACA. Um, at this point, my mom is still undocumented. I do have siblings that could have helped her, but the process is very difficult and very costly. We need to show proof that there is a reason why my mom has to stay here. I have twin brothers, and my mom is a single mother. I have twin brothers that are 12 years old, turning 13 this year. And to me, that is a huge reason why to stay here. They are US citizens. My mom needs to work. She needs to provide for them. Um, she can't get food stamps for them. She doesn't qualify for any help for them. So again, we fall into this trap that she's trying her best. Thankfully she's been educated on how to be able to start her own business. And even then, she's not making the money that she should be making due to the factor that she doesn't have a social security number. that she can't get the permits that she should be able to.
So how many undocumented people are there in the United States?
That is an amazing question too, and I will try and find that response, but there is a lot of undocumented folks, and we got to remember um, that it's not a correct answer because a lot of undocumented people do not want to come out of the hiding, are very afraid. But
Okay,
as of 2021, there is 10.5 unauthorized immigrants or undocumented folks.
10.5.
Million.
10.5, how many?
10.5 million.
Right. So when Ronald Reagan was president, he gave amnesty to millions
Correct.
of undocumented people, correct? And it was as simple as walk down to the registry, get your citizenship start over. And there are many people who would argue that that is the thing that should be done with the 10 million. Is that correct?
To a certain point. We do want security. So let's say, for instance, if you were a bad person, if you did a lot of mistakes, if you were driving under the influence multiple times, if you are,
Of course.
you know, acts of violence or anything like that, we don't believe, and many of us don't believe that you should
No,
be
of course.
qualifying for that. But those people that are here and that have been here and have been doing everything the right way other than their legal entry, I believe they should. You pay taxes, you help the economy, why not?
Part I don't understand. This idea that you're taking jobs from others is just not true. But then what about the argument that people make that undocumented people are willing to take to be paid less per hour and that that is doing damage to unions? What's your response to that?
Well, let's be real. Unions, the reason why they exist is because there's a lot of people that abuse the workers. There's a lot of big corporations that abuse the workers that don't want to pay um, good money, that don't want to give them insurance, that don't want to give them their rights. Um, the people that are working, that are taking the less money, that are taking the jobs, as they say, those people are taking jobs that nobody wants to take.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to be a dishwasher. Nobody wants to clean the floors. Nobody wants to scrub toilets. Nobody wants to be bent picking up carrots or potatoes or, you know, those are the people that are out there that are willing to do anything for their families. Um, and they're also the people that get sick and don't get any health care and die. Um, those are the people that know how to have a heart and continuously help the community. Because reality is, those are the people that take their shirt off for their fellow neighbor and help them out.
so now talk to me about the fact that I have met undocumented people who are resentful of what they perceive as kind of special treatment being given to people crossing over the border now. Can you give me any perspective on that?
Yes, that is a very tough situation that we're all going through because most of these people have been in the US for over 20 years. Um, they've done what they need to do. Um, and most of these people, I want to say, are Mexicans or of Mexican descent. Um, Currently, the way that immigration is working is they're allowing people from other countries to be able to come except for Mexico. They're giving them asylum except for Mexico. So it's a constant like, okay, we're neighbors and you see the violence as well in Mexico. Why aren't you helping us? So yes, people are wondering why. Um, the way the system is working right now, there's people that are coming from Cuba still, saying we want to ask for asylum. They get the asylum, and within weeks, if not days, they get their residency. They get a social security number for them to work. They get money for them to go and shop. They get vouchers so they can go ahead and find a place to live. And there's so many people here that have helped and have worked for the economy and are homeless and are starving. So it's good that we're helping, we are this the United States of America, this place where you go and you find help, but you're not helping your people inside of the United States. You're just continuously helping people outside.
Now tell me, in the time that we have left, tell me about what's happening in Eagle Pass. Tell me your thoughts about Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas. He's basically at odds with the federal government, taking matters into his own hands, put it mildly. I was there. I saw this park where he has overridden federal authority, but now much more even than when I was there. You have any thoughts about that?
It's really sad how, again, we fall into this trap of people not having a heart, not being humane. Seeing Border Patrol allowing a
That
woman,
mother and her daughter,
a
children,
mother and a child just drown.
two children.
I don't understand how they could have that heart. Um, Seeing how women and children are crossing through in these areas where there is the barbed wire. We don't even treat animals that way. How are we treating humans this way? How are we allowing a governor to overpass ruling that, should be governmental, not just state-wise? And most importantly, why is he taking on this role without asking the people? Are the people okay with it? I doubt it.
He's the old-fashioned racist cop. I was there. I saw the concertina wire. And of course, when I was there, the federal judge had said that the Border Patrol had to lift up the wire. And of course, now he said on television a couple days ago, I'm doing everything except shooting them because Biden administration would get me on murder if I did that. Almost as if to imply, if it weren't for that.
It'd be a shooting practice consistently with undocumented folks.
I saw on television, I saw the video just a couple of days ago of a woman with a little baby, taking the little baby, smuggling underneath the concertina wire.
And again, we fall into this trap of where is our heart? We're here to help others, yet we are allowing this inhumane items to be happening.
So what's your answer to those who would say, look, Erika, I'm a compassionate person. My own ancestors immigrated here, but come on, you got 300,000 people on one day that there were. What would you say to that? What would you say to what is actually, there is a surge going on. I mean, there is. What do you say to the fact that there are so many, that even some good-hearted Americans don't see how we can possibly absorb all that? What is you yourself, good-hearted American, what do you say?
Personally, to me, I think there should be a pathway for you to be able to come into the United States. We are the United States. We are the American dream. I feel like there is plenty of jobs, and we can make plenty of jobs here. But most importantly, I feel like there should be a process. The process shouldn't be so expensive. And if these people are asking for an asylum, it's because they're terrified of their country. If that is so, then they shouldn't go back for vacations the following year when they become a resident. That shouldn't happen. If you're asking for asylum and you're terrified and your life is being threatened, then I would think you would not want to go back. That's my personal opinion. With the undocumented people that are here in the US, I feel like if they are doing everything correct, there should be a pathway to that citizenship as well. If they're paying their taxes, if they've been good citizens, if they've help the community, if they've done it all, why not?
I
At the end of
totally
the
agree.
day, at the end of the day, they're putting in that money into the economy again.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. We're forcing people to live in the shadows who don't want to live in the shadows. Like you said, have you said several times, good people, contributors to the economy. And of course, that's just statistically true. Uh, Within a year, people such as those you have mentioned um, become self-sufficient and overall are absolute contributors to the US economy. Well, Erika, thank you very, very much for telling us your story. I wish you the very best
Thank
with your pregnancy. Uh,
you.
I'm going to be in Las Vegas this weekend. I hope I will see you. And
Yes, of course.
yeah, thank you. And thank you very, very much for the insight that you gave us, for the work that you do. And I hope that we will have a chance to talk more in the future because I think that this kind of insight is the kind of insight far more Americans need and in their hearts want. So thank you very, very much.
Thank
Have a,
you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
thank you, honey.